John Hubbard is a state representative in Arkansas, and he's decided that he's going to make his feelings clear about black folks. So he's actually written this down in letters to the editors, a book that he's put together about a frustrated conservative. And I can see why he's frustrated, because he's one of the dumbest people in the country. So here we go. He says, will it ever become possible for black people in the United States of America to firmly establish themselves as inclusive and contributing members of society within this country? Why, John, that is such a good question. One does wonder. This guy's a representative of all the people in his area, right? He thinks black people are they ever going to catch up with us? Come on. All right? You think that's bad? We're just getting warmed up. Blacks simply can't learn to appreciate the value of a good education. Really? But it gets better. Turns out blacks screwed up education for whites. Really? Let's find out how. Well, Mr. Hubbard says, one of the stated purposes of school integration was to bring black students up to a level close to that of white students. But to the great disappointment of everyone, the results of this theory worked exactly in reverse of its intended purpose. And instead of black students rising to the educational levels previously attained by white students, the white students dropped to the level of black students. To make matters worse, the lack of discipline and ambition of black students became shared by their white classmates, and our educational system has been in a steady decline ever since. Oh, I love that. If you're wondering why white students were doing so bad in the country, well, of course it's not white people's fault. It's not their parents' fault. It's not the government's fault for constantly tearing down public school systems, giving them less funds, etc. No, it's black people's fault. Once we allowed those black guys into the school, well, they corrupted our good white kids. Oh, I see. Well, that is a brilliant theory. If you thought that was bad enough, it just keeps getting worse. Here's his thoughts on slavery. Oh boy, this ought to be good, right? The institution of slavery, that the black race has long believed to be an abomination upon its people, may actually have been a blessing in disguise. The blacks could endure those conditions, and who could endure those conditions and circumstances would someday be rewarded with citizenship in the greatest nation ever established upon the face of the earth. Actually, they wouldn't really be rewarded. Maybe their great-grandkids would. They would just be slaves for the rest of their lives. How does someone say this with a straight face? Well, look, John Hubbard, if you think it's such a great idea to be a slave, great. Why don't you be my slave? And you do everything I tell you to do. You do all my work for me, okay? And you know what you get for it? Nothing. Except I might have sex with your wife. How are your daughters? Are they hot? I might have sex with them too. And then I might ship them off to other states for my own profit. Oh, your sons, if you have any, obviously I'll sell them off too. I need extra money. If you disagree with any of this, I will whip you. Maybe I'll even kill you. Slavery, it's a blessing in disguise. Why wouldn't you want it? John Hubbard, come on, sign up. Be my slave. If you think it's such a great thing, why don't we do it to you? Oh, no, I see. It's not for white people. It's for black people. Oh, I see. Now, he ironically also says, American Christians are assuming a similar stance as the citizens of Germany during Hitler's rise to power. But after hearing all this incredibly bigoted racist talk, which, by the way, Hitler absolutely agreed with, I wonder if he views that as a warning or as a positive thing. State representative. No, but there's no racism left in the country. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, and Republicans. I mean, I don't know why African Americans wouldn't vote for them. But do you think he's the only one? He's not the only one. Let's go to Loy Mouch, who is also a Republican state representative from Arkansas. He said about Abraham Lincoln, he's a fake, neurotic Northern war criminal, and he has committed premeditated murder on the Constitution. Okay, seems like a lovely guy. You're going to be shocked to find out that he's part of all those Confederate groups that wish the Confederacy was still around. In fact, he says, quote, Confederate flag is a symbol of Christian liberty versus the New World Order. By that I guess he means the New World Order of 1861. Or 1865, take your pick. He's so in the past that he's like, can you believe the new changes we had in the 1860s? He continues, if slavery were so god-awful, Why didn't Jesus or Paul condemn it? Why was it in the Constitution? And why wasn't there a war before 1861? Why, that is just brilliant. We had a war over 150 years ago to get rid of slavery. And he says, why didn't you do it 160 years ago? You see that, obviously, slavery is such a great thing. These guys got elected at some point. These guys are officials in the Republican Party. And you wonder why African Americans don't vote for Republicans. You wonder why Mitt Romney, the leader of the Republican Party now, running for president, is polling at 96-0 among African Americans.